I want to say hello to the ITC community out there. Thank you so much for being patient. Not like you were standing on pins and needles waiting for my video anyway, to be very honest. But nevertheless, I did put out a teaser saying that I had one coming, and it is the one from Michigan. Now, to make this short and sweet, because I'm going to include it on the front of the video, I actually earlier today, and this is, I think, the 6th of August, 2016, I compressed the entire video today and then watched it over. Always watch it over before I post it. And I was dissatisfied with a couple of things that didn't sound right. Some of the audio was off, and the EVP sounds, and I was really doing my best to try and make those clear, because I put a lot of work not into making them sound like something. Of course not. None of us would do that. Into making sure what I said I heard was coming out in the audio. And if it's not, and I realized something, even though I was hearing something, you might actually hear another voice or hear something different. I've heard other people in the ITC community mention this, Steve and a few other people mention it, but this actually happened to me today while listening to some of the, going back into my files and listening to the whole thing in the video again. And then going back to the original AUP files, the Audacity files, and I realizing that there's a double frequency inside the message. The front part of the message is one frequency, the other side of the message is another, and I had to split them up in order to hear them right. And I realized what I thought was one thing was actually something else, though it could be easily mistaken because some of the words were similar. It was crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's what's being said. And I am going to go back a third time to try and do some sort of crossover event or some sort of crossover prayer with Sage and Burning Sage and those kind of things, because when you have that many people calling out for help and asking you to help them, you got to go back. You really got to go back. It's difficult on me. I'm teaching 5 classes this semester at 3 different institutions, but I really want to go back and do this. It's not just a want. If I have to go back on a Friday night, be there on a Saturday, and fly back on a Sunday, great. Then I'll do it that way. But I've got to do this. So it's been an incredible journey for me. It's touch and go. This is the first time I've done a video like this before with the editing software. I work in Linux, so one piece of software failed 8 days into the process, knocking out 80% of my work. I had to go back and use another video editing software that's somewhat greatly better, but I used functions from the other software and melded them into the newer software that I was using, and amazingly it worked. So I can't even explain how I was able to do that, but I had two software programs open on each side, and one would fail if I even tried to compress the video or do other fancy things, and the other one ran just fine on my computer with a little bit of updating on the hardware. I don't have the fancy technology some of you do have. I just don't have it. And in this investigation, all I had was EVPs because I didn't have the room for the hardware and for the other things that I might normally bring to my investigations. Even my EMF detector, I didn't even have that. So I hope you all enjoy. It's touch and go. I don't mind people giving thoughts on it. There are some things I'm not going to do again, but it was a hard way to go trying to get the MP4. Instead of having to use the Audacity screens like I did for audio, I also did a little bit of a mix of using the MP4 and just putting a banner, a see-through banner at the bottom with the words on it like everyone else does. But it was a hard way to go because, again, I don't have the equipment. But I hope you all enjoy it. I will certainly do more. There's always going to be those who don't like anything and think we are all faking it. Whatever, really, but whatever. Not getting into that discussion with anybody. But because I will not have my integrity questioned in that way. So, thank you. Love you all. Thanks to Steve Huff and a bunch of you out there still doing your work. And no bullying, not going to happen on my watch. No bullying, not my students, not my TC family, not any of my people in this world. No bullying. Be well, everyone, and enjoy the episode. first time messenger guardians came here, it was 14 months ago in August 2014. It's now October about 18th, I think, 2015. So Grand Traverse Commons, we came before. We went through a few of the buildings, took some audio, took some video, but mostly audio is what came out, and also our images are what came out as well, with people appearing in them. But as we can see, we're back again just for the weekend. Messenger Guardians is back again, and I'm going to myself along with Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, with the camera. We're gonna go back through again, and I'm you know, with our group, everyone's involved, so I'm gonna ask that Kyle throw in some stuff too whenever we're I'm talking, because I really need that extra information from someone who grew up here. See, let him see you, Kyle. Yay! So
yep. Local, born and bred. So.
Indeed. So so welcome back to Northern Michigan at the Commons. I can hardly ever remember anymore, but okay. All right, cool. As usual, you all notice that I use my cell phone, and we use our just simple electronic devices to do EVPs. And right now the only voices out are ours, and there's cars in the background, but that's it. Usually an EVP goes for about 10 to 15 seconds. They don't really need to be that much longer. I wouldn't even make them longer than 20 ever, because then that's a lot of space. That's a lot of time to go through an EVP and have to dig out and figure out what's going on. So quite often, and sometimes you don't need quiet. Often they'll speak over you or through you or something like that. So it's quite interesting. Many of these are the same structures that we walked around and walked through before. And I normally ask the question, is anybody here? Does anyone want to speak? And all I need to do is hold on for a second or two. What looks to be a waiting game. Okay. That's better. What I hate about it is when it blurs when I'm taking the pictures. I thought I'd get back in the winter time, but it's good to be back when I am. We can't guarantee what kind of winter it would be, and whether that'll be a good time to get back. But it's also that I'm going to be checking the files, checking these files to see if there's anyone with us while we're out here doing this. If there's anyone with us while we're out here doing this. Oops, didn't mean to take the picture of that. Alright, I'm going to do an EVP session. Is there anyone with us here? That was me hitting the fan, hitting the plate there. Anyone at all? We're not here to yell at you or be disrespectful or anything like that. Just want to let you know we're here, and we just want to hear what you have to say. Maybe help you if you really need it. I noticed that this has been put over it. That wasn't there before. That's been put over very recently, and somewhere in the last 14 months. Because we could get a camera image through there before. And as a matter of fact, we may still be able to get a camera. I'll check back later. This is one of the buildings here at Drivers Commons. Check back later. This is one of the buildings here at Drivers Commons. Check back later. This is one of the buildings here at Drivers Commons. Now, when was this? This was an asylum, right?
Yes, it was the state mental hospital.
It's the Northern Michigan State Mental Hospital,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's right. I remember now. So, essentially, oh God, there's another word, and I used it today. That people were put into in the early part of the 20th century. It's not asylum. There's another word from, what, 1901 or 1890s or somewhere in there?
Somewhere,
1880s?
yes, late 1890s, I believe, through about the 1920s or 30s.
Okay, and then it just got closed down over time? I thought it was still open through the 50s.
There was bits of it still open. They started closing down some of the sections and converting some of it from mental to more of just handicap usage.
Right.
And over time, they started just closing the whole thing down.
And then, of course, in the early 2000s, or in the 2000s, they just started converting it to what we have up further, which are the restaurants, and I don't know what else is there, apartments.
There are apartments, a few boutique shops.
And of course, be reminded those places will have just as much a problem. In one of the pictures that we had, which I may bring up on screen here, we caught a little girl standing in the middle of the hallway in front of the restaurant, the bar or restaurant that's down there. And then they had stories to tell us when we were here last time about the hand that kept appearing on the wall, even no matter how many times they painted over it. So, and that's amazing what people will tell you right off when you give them the opportunity. So, definitely worth it. You're wondering if there's anyone with us here that wants to speak. Later on is when we can go through the video and the audio and check to see if there's anyone in there. Okay, that's probably enough. It's probably enough. Okay, it's probably enough. Interesting. Ooh, I can feel that. Wow. Ooh. It's like someone just walked right up to me. I wasn't even expecting it.
There's definitely a palpable energy here.
Yeah. Ooh. Don't worry, you can speak. I'm not here to harm you or do you any disrespect or disregard. Just, we're here, we're interested in knowing your story and getting it out there. Maybe calling for help for you if you need it. At this point, I'm going to take some EVP readings because that I didn't expect to step through that energy wall. I don't think you did either.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So if anyone's with us, it's an old house sitting on the edge of the commons. I'm thinking it may have been maybe a director's home or some, home to someone's place. We're right up near the hole of this house, and I'm going to actually see if we can put our cam through, and I'm going to see if there's anything in there. If anyone's there, let us know. It's quite interesting. I wish that I had a map or, well, I'd say better than just a map, but something that can show me what really was on this place. I'm sure there's a book written that I can look up or get online to look up maps to know what this house is, and I might just do that and maybe throw in an explanation over the screen or something like that. But it'll be quite interesting to see what's here. We'll keep rolling around and seeing what we can catch here at this little house right here. And here you go. Is anybody with us? Oh, I can feel that. Wow. Ooh. It's like someone just walked right up to me. I wasn't even expecting it.
It's definitely a palpable energy.
Yeah. Ooh. Don't worry, you can speak. I'm not here to harm you or do you any disrespect or disregard. Just, we're here, we're interested in knowing your story and getting it out there. Maybe calling for help for you if you need it. Okay, so as you listen to my phone audio, the quick analysis, just for a moment, because I don't like to let these insert videos run that long, but as you listen to it, you'll notice that there's still a consistency in people saying, I'm not ready for you. One person is saying jumpsuits, or something to the effect. I've also got lines in my audio called listed, which means it's the exact same line except I've left it blank for people to say pause going back or going further in the video and keep listening to that spot and see if they hear something that maybe I missed or maybe I misinterpreted, something like that. I call those listed lines, which means there's something there, but you have the freedom to not read the words that I've written underneath, so your brain doesn't get set on that and see whether or not you can interpret it, because sometimes 2 and 3 messages are said in the same line. That happens. But anyway, I just wanted you all to see that. I wanted to explain that real quick as we listen real quick to this audio set that I caught on my phone audio, which you saw the video just before this. So here it is. Again, there's no other voices other than myself and Kyle here, so there's no one else here. So if anything comes up on our reading, on listening to the files later on, it'll be quite interesting. See through there, but I can't see much. Not sure I can get much in there. Oops. We got you.
All right.
This is freaky. All right. Of course, you can't get in on the inside because there's no way to do that. But again, there's no other voices other than myself and Kyle here, so there's no one else here. So if anything comes up on our reading, on listening to the files later on, it'll be quite interesting. I can see through there, but I can't see much. much in there. Oops. We got you. All right. This is incredible. Who is this? We're just here to help you. We're just here to help you. This is Messenger Guardians, Montpelier, Vermont, and we've come up to Michigan, up to Traverse City to research the commons. This is our second trip, and we'll likely make more. But tell your story if you want to. We'll hear it. We'll hear it after we go home and go through our material. I'm doing an EVP session because something more seems to really be going on. I mean, I'm not being paranoid in any way. We were just talking in the moment we walked up to the house. You all may have gotten this on cam. I just went, oh my goodness, you know, something has changed. Something, I just felt that. And it really wasn't anything I was expecting. I wasn't looking to be approached or anything, but this happens from time to time. I've been doing a straight through recording while talking, so if something's been caught, it'll be caught either on this or the secondary audio for the cam. It is always good, and I'm going to give some kudos to Steve Huff of Huff Paranormal. It's always good to use more than one device to do your recording on, whether you're doing audio, video, even if you do a few pieces of backup video on a secondary device. But it's good to make sure that if something is heard, it may not always be heard on the other audio device. It just depends on the calibration, but it's always good to have a secondary device. Sometimes devices will catch two different things at the same time on different devices, so it's always good to have this. But things have certainly been going on since we've gotten here. One more before we get into a spot where there might be a little bit more light to see. If anyone's here. And now I'm getting that high-pitched sound in my ear.
Yeah.
I don't get a high-pitched sound in my ear unless someone's speaking to me. And I don't mean a normal high pitch around. And I mean, we're out in a spot where I shouldn't be receiving a high-pitched sound that comes up all of a sudden. So usually I have to slow that sound down on recording and find out who's speaking, find out who's doing it. There it is again. It's only just been happening back here. Let me know who you are. Okay. I think that's enough for this spot. I'm sure we've caught quite enough to look at. All right. On since we've gotten here. One more before we get into a spot where there might be a little bit more light to see if anyone's here. And now I'm getting that high-pitched sound in my ear. There it is again. And there it is again. As we're heading out of this part of the commons for the evening, this building came up, and I was able to, I was, looking in there, and quite interesting. Of course, for safety reasons, we already know that it's the reason why, you can't get in, but boy, would I like to. Oh, would I like to. Just for 3 or 4 hours. I don't even think I'd stay the whole weekend, an entire night, but certainly just to get a perspective of what goes on. I don't really need to do the whole witching hour thing. I don't need to stay until the middle of the night. By that time, we've already gotten our collection of data, whether it's, and there goes that high-pitched sound again. Who's here with me? Who's here with us? We just want to get your story. I am recording now. Feel you still here speaking. I think that for the evening we're done, but we'll go through this material and we'll come through and see what we can get from it. And if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But it'll take a little bit of time to put it together. But I want to thank you for joining Messenger Guardians for the evening. Up here in Michigan, we're in Traverse City, Michigan, and up at Grand Traverse Commons. So we want to thank you. I appreciate it. Messenger Guardians out.